Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with a look at the softer side to the King of Knights. This is Figma Saber Dress version, an unarmored variant of the illustrious Fate Stay Night Servant released exclusively at Wonder Festival Winter 2015. At first glance, you may be thinking that this is just Figma Saber 2.0 without her armor. In concept, you'd be correct, as that is the aesthetic that Saber Dress version's going for. However, the two figures are a lot less alike than you'd imagine. In fact, the only parts shared between them are the shoulder pads and the upper legs, which you can't even see. Everything else on Saber Dress version is all new tooling. The result is a gentler, more feminine Saber, and I think this Figma pulls off the look elegantly. I love the long and graceful lines of the dress and the figure silhouette. It gives her a tall posture and a strong profile. Surface detailing is minimal and the harshness of the wrinkles have been reduced to keep in line with the softer theme. Saber does lack shading, yet I do find myself fond of her simpler appearance. Also, the two-tone brown on the boots were a nice touch. I have some complaints, namely the white lacing over Saber's stomach isn't as sharp as it could be, very out of character for Max Factory. Then there's the unfortunate seam line that runs down the backside of her dress. Both issues are minor and don't affect overall enjoyment, still I'd rather not have them at all. By now you've noticed that this version of Saber wears her hair down, and I think it looks good. There's a nice natural shape to it. Like with Saber 2.0, the hair lacks shading, although to be fair, I didn't expect it to have any to begin with. Expressions included are a gentle smile, a bright smile, and a gallant stare to the right. All three mimic Saber's anime likeness exceptionally well. On top of this, you also get a secondary headpiece with dynamic hair. It's sculpted to look like it's being blown lightly by the wind. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that the fringe piece on this secondary head is identical to the one used for Saber 2.0's dynamic hairpiece. And speaking of Saber 2.0, for those curious, you can indeed swap all the faces and headpieces between Saber Dress version and 2.0 as you see fit. Standing at barely over 5 inches tall, the figure's height isn't too surprising considering she does lack the heels of her 2.0 counterpart. She scales well with all modern Fate Stay Night Figmas, but is slightly too large for older releases. For articulation, Saber has a Figma joint at the neck, so the side to side is good. Good tilting. Down is good. Up is a bit limited just because of the length of the hair in the back, and this hair here is soft, pliable plastic. For the mid-torso, there is a ball joint there, so you can get some range of motion. I mean, side to side is good, but any sort of ab crunch or tilting is where things are going to get stuck just because of how tight the sculpt is there. There is a waist joint here, but it's located underneath everything, so this dress piece on top actually can just wiggle a bit, but the actual joint is located on the legs. The shoulders should seem familiar as they do have the telescopic gimmick going on there, so there's a ball joint in there and one in the shoulder, and you get plenty of range of motion, and this shoulder pad is sort of just floating there. You do have a bicep swivel. There's a single joint at the elbow, and of course a ball joint or Figma joint at the wrist. However, because of the little lacing around here, it is a bit more limited than normal wrist joints. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a waist joint here, and you know what, I'm going to tell you right now. There's ball jointed hips, there's thigh swivels, great knees, there's nice ankle rockers, a pivot, a toe joint, but the only thing you need to know is that this entire dress piece is one singular hard piece of plastic, which basically means these legs are only allowed to move as far as this dress will allow. So that is going to be a big disappointment for articulation. I mean, that's the most you can do. That's it. The knee joints are practically useless. The only thing really to focus on is the ankle rockers and such, and they're great. Like I said, there's that waist joint in there right at the top, but it's, again, useless. Technically speaking, Saber has all the components for great articulation. However, the single, solid dress piece does cut her lower body's posability drastically. Thankfully, her arms are still good, and they're more useful anyways. In addition to her fists, Saber includes 4 extra pairs of hands that fill out her hand rack. You get open palms, splayed fingers, gripping hands, and a special pair with a hole in the palm to let you display her sword upright. Which sword, you ask? Well, it's none other than Excalibur along with the scabbard Avalon. And yes, these are identical to the ones included with Saber 2.0. The only unique accessory to Saber Dress version is the inclusion of the bamboo sword. Despite being made of plastic, it does a good job at replicating the appearance of wood. Of course, Saber has no problems wielding it either. Finally, as with every Figma, a storage bag and display stand round out the contents. Being a Wonder Festival exclusive, the sudden announcement of Figma Saber dress version came as a surprise to all Fate Stay Night fans. Though, considering she appeared to be nothing more than an armorless Saber 2.0, the thought of her being more or less a recycled toy was a common prediction. Yet, the final product speaks for itself as this is almost an entirely new figure, and it's a good one at that, too. Put simply, this is a really pretty variant of Saber. It's definitely not the most action-oriented toy, but that's okay because all her inclusions are themed solely around the idea of bringing out the softer side to the King of Knights. For this reason, she makes for a great companion piece to Figma Saber 2.0. At the same time, it's unfortunately also the reason I can't recommend this figure to everyone. It's purely for diehard Saber fans. In truth, it's nowhere near as awesome as Saber 2.0, and if you've yet to grab a Saber figure, that's the one I'd aim for. Make no mistake, I adore Figma Saber dress version, and I think it's a very nice toy. Still, I wouldn't classify it as necessary. Furthermore, its status as a toy show exclusive doesn't exactly make it the easiest figure to acquire either. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and I didn't mention this earlier, but I absolutely love this figure's packaging. The blue, white, and gold combination is just so classy. I can't stop admiring it.